that you can't be like, oh, this championship don't. Why doesn't it count? Everyone had the same playing condition.
Oh, if
there was but there wasn't though.
If there was 82 games instead of a lockout, then this team would have won. Like, listen, stop it. Everybody had an opportunity.
Debate what actually happened, not what could have happened.
More money, more problems. More guns, more violence.
Because if you think about it, ESPN is now trying to get more
players involved,
players that know the game, that more insight, like a JJ Redick or a Tim Legler, those type of guys that'll give you basketball analysis and won't just give you your opinion, like very opinionated, like a Kendrick Perkins and stuff. And I think that's what NBA media is really missing the most, is more guys that'll give you basketball analysis, like X's and O's. I feel like that's what people want to hear. Listen,
that's why I like Draymond's podcast.
Listen, I'm not gonna. I hate to give this person credit, but was it Ball Don't Stop? Let's give credit where he's due, because when he started coming along, I heard more people talk. Sure, the whole hooper, you're a hooper and a basketball player terminology.
That was the worst era ever of hoop discourse.
It's ridiculous, but he did bring a level of hoop discussion where it comes to basketball,
actually knowing the game,
basketball analysis, that got people interested in the game. And now more people are sort of interested in hearing the X's and O's. And you see a JJ Redick and a Tim Legler actually on First Take more than they were before, because usually they were like in the Get Up, or maybe they were in the late night or something like that. But now they're really pushing that sort of agenda. And I watch Undisputed, and they don't have none of that. They don't have those sort of X's and O's, and it's just opinionated or first things first. I feel like it's getting redundant. That sort of style. It's getting stagnant. That sort of style where it's just opinion, use numbers and all that other stuff. Like, we want to actually learn people want to learn, like, what coverage is this? Because if you watch football coverage, they give you X's and O's. Yep. They're like, okay, they're in a cover 3, they're in a cover 2 man, whatever. They're blitzing. They have a spy on this, but like, they actually try to make you understand. It's not a opinionated thing.
And even inside the NBA during the halftime, they'll break down parts of the first half.
Yeah. With Kenny Smith now, Shaq be saying the most obvious stuff.
And the pre-show games on the NFL is way more interesting to watch, because they actually be like, okay, this team is probably gonna look more. They show you the film and all of that stuff. It's just a better product being put out as far as the X's and O's of the game goes on NFL side.
And then when they bring in guys that know the game, that has X's and O's, like a JJ Redick and Tim Legler, and Stephen A starts rambling on with his hot takes and his narratives, people looking at Stephen A like, bro, what are you talking about?
Like, how you get paid to do this? Like, I seen there was one clip JJ Redick and Pat Bev was on. I forgot what Stephen A said. I think someone said, I think
something about James. Was it about James Harden?
No, I don't think it was James Harden. But something happened, and JJ and Pat Bev looked at this dude like, "Are you for real?" Yeah, it was just like once people who really know ball, former players, start getting more into the media, and it's just like, even like shows like I'm Athlete and Pivot, even though they talk more, they don't talk about the game at whole, but when they do talk about it, it sounds way better than what's being shown on the TV for the most part.
Right. Like, I remember JJ Redick, he was talking, Patrick Beverly was on First Take, and they talked about like the certain play that they know, sort of like a terminology that they use, whatever. And I thought that was very interesting. You don't get much of that nowadays. Like, it's very opinionated stuff. And we want to know, like, we want to know the ins and outs of the game. Like, we don't want to just hear opinions, because people nowadays, you hear like people not trusting what Stephen A is saying or reporting.
No one should. Yeah, no one. People like, what source is Stephen A got? Like, that is bad coming from like one of your top earners.
But then when you hear a Patrick Beverly start talking about, nobody fears him, the Suns or something. Like, then we're like, oh, okay, that's very interesting. Like, We getting actual insight. Like Paul George saying nobody's scared of them or something like. Anthony Edwards even on the internet talking about, they talking all this smack. We didn't know that. We didn't know all this stuff.
We didn't know how much the league didn't really rock with the Suns.
Exactly. So then we see. Remember when LeBron, he was talking to Cameron Payne? We like, I see what's going on. No wonder. And so, yeah, you get that insight that's missing instead of all these opinions. Like you see on First Things First with Antonio Walker, he's a former player, but
I thought it was Antoine Walker.
I said Antonio Walker. Antoine Walker, dude, come on the show, and you thinking, okay, he's a former player. He might, he should give you some X and O's. Dude is just opinionated, just like Nick, just like Chris Broussard and all them other guys on there. He don't add nothing to the table except the same old rhetoric that we've heard before.
Yeah. I mean, aren't we kind of talking about ourselves, though? We ain't really breaking down the X's and O's. Exactly.
Hey, we did talk. Listen, because there's a difference. There's a difference, okay? Yeah, we're not in the game, all right? But we are, like, when we talk about the Celtics game, right? We told you guys literally what was happening, like, in terms of the coverages, in terms of defense, in terms of, like, Steph's ability. I'm talking about Steph. In terms of Jason Tatum's ability to score, facilitate, Jimmy Butler not being aggressive in the first half, whatever. So we're not trying to paint.
We're not trying to push agendas.
We're not trying to paint a picture that's not true. Like, we're not trying to bend the facts. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like, we're not out here doing that. And so that's why I'm bringing this up, because it's important. It's important because I feel like that's the reason that we're doing this podcast, is because we're trying to do something that the NBA media is not trying to do, and that is in terms of getting away from agenda pushing and all the other stuff and presenting you guys with what is actually happening on the floor.
Like you see the stuff, like, people don't, maybe in like the barbershop sometimes, there's always that one old head in the barbershop that be talking like how they do on them TV shows. But most of the time, sports discourse ain't like that in real life. Like, it's way different. People actually get into what actually happened on the TV instead of hypotheticals or stuff that didn't happen.
That's the probably number one problem with the NBA. Well, besides the whole agenda pushing there, hypotheticals. I don't think there's any other league with more hypotheticals than the NBA. Like, if this team was healthy, then they would have won. All the yada yada.
Like, talk about what happened,
bro.
I'm not trying to hear what could have happened. This ain't make believe. If you want to make hypotheticals, go on 2K and simulate it. But we here to talk about what actually happened.
Like, when the Suns lost, they were like, if this team was, that means if the Clippers was healthy, then they would have won. Like, I get, okay.
We get it, but like Kanye said, I guess we'll never know.
Like, listen, I'm not even gonna say the Lakers. Like, I'm not even gonna say all that.
Lakers fans was taking victory laps over the Suns and all, but this is shameful. Y'all got beat by them dudes last year. I don't care if y'all was hurt or not. Y'all lost. People are, man, if Lakers, you lost.
Especially with LeBron. Like, oh my God. Oh man.
You lost.
The hypothetical pushing for LeBron. If Kyrie and Kevin Love was healthy, they would have won. Bro, I heard argument.
If the Nets was healthy, they lost.
I heard an argument where, I think it was on First Things First. It was like, if the Warriors didn't kick Kevin Durant, the Warriors probably would have never won another championship. Like,
they did though,
bro.
So it's no point of even bringing it up for real.
Like, I'm like,
if LeBron had more help back, he didn't. So it's no point of bringing it up.
I'm like,
go on 2K if you want to get him some more help.
It just blows my mind the amount of just hypotheticals, and it's hurting basketball discussions. It's hurting the game overall, because you can't really have a good quality discussion.
Because when you bring up a point that actually happened, people will be like, well, if Ja wasn't hurt, he was hurt though, so it doesn't even matter.
The bubble championship.
The bubble ring. If it wasn't in the bubble, listen. Everyone had equal opportunity. I say the Lay Mickey joke just because I think it's just to unironically poke fun.
He's a troll.
But that you can't be like, this championship don't. Why doesn't it count? Everyone had the same playing condition.
If there was
but there wasn't though.
If there was 82 games instead of a lockout, then this team would have won. Like, listen, stop it. Everybody had an opportunity.
Debate what actually happened, not what could have happened. This ain't make believe.
It just blows my mind, man. It just blows my mind, just the agenda pushing. And then, like, the players, like, they'll protect certain players, but when it comes to another player, they're
the
not.
The way everybody came up the arms for freaking Chris Paul was nasty. Like, they let players talk about it and all that. James Harden literally said Giannis had no skill. Not a single peep from the media. Pat Bev goes, oh, yeah, we ain't scared of the Suns. Oh my gosh, you're disrespecting Chris Paul. Like, come on, son. Y'all got to stop picking and choosing to keep it funky all the way. You can't be all like, well, this is acceptable when someone talks about this player. LeBron been getting ragged on for nearly 2 decades now. Oh, late choke, late this. He ain't not late clutch, blah, blah, blah. He's the team hopper. He's ring chase, stat chaser. No one says, no one cares. Chris Paul gets mentioned one time for playing like doo-doo in a series. Oh, my God, you can't be saying that. This is so disrespectful to the legends of the game. Like, come on, man. Don't do that lame stuff over here, bro. Okay. We're not hearing it, bro.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'm not gonna say nothing about that. I'm not gonna refute that because, but I do think Patrick Beverley was a bit harsh in his critique. I will say that he was.
The game's the game.
Okay, the game is the game. I agree with that. I'm not gonna refute anything. I'm just gonna say he was a bit harsh, but
goodness,
the
pandemic P jokes in the playoff, those was fine though. Talk about Chris Paul though. Oh, hey, listen, you're gone too far. I'm not. Y'all sound like police.
He questioned his career. That's where I was like, okay, you need to stop.
Paul George?
No, I'm talking about Chris Paul. Oh. Patrick Beverley questioned him as in terms of his career. That's where I was like, okay, you need to calm down. As like an all-time great point guard, he didn't agree that he was an all-time great point guard. And I'm like, okay, you need to slow down. Just because he wasn't cooking like that against you,
he does get graded on a curve though.
Yeah, just because he wasn't cooking like that against you doesn't mean he's not a great point guard. Like, let's calm down. Sure. Listen, you're one of the best on-ball defenders in the league, point guard defenders in the league. So give yourself some credit. God damn it. I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit for doing what you did to Chris Paul. So, yeah.
Life in these sentences.